guarding man-to-man, but there were times I had to get him man-to-man. And
your favorite team that you guys love to face in your division?
Yours.
Yes, sir.
It's like the games like you play against the Raiders, you might get 3 sacks. When they had Jamarcus Russell, which I did. So I got 3 sacks on them. I got 3 sacks on them in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And I'm ready, and they take Tommy Maddox.
What is going on, everyone? We are back with another episode of West War Room Rivals. You got the Shovik brothers tonight. Cody's on vacation. Matt is obviously still deployed. We'll hopefully get him back soon. Cody should be back next week for our episode. But we do have a special guest tonight. First, let's read off some sponsorships. We have Troy and his team over at Kansas Field Ops for all your field markings and your court marking needs. Make sure to give Troy and his team a shout. And then Angie and her team at Emporia State Federal Credit Union, the War Room's banking of choice, and Jeff and his team at JBW Solutions Studios as we're recording live out of the JBW Solutions studio here. Jeff and his team got some big stuff going on, so make sure you guys go check out all their Facebook postings, all their social media. Big things coming to JBW, and we are happy to have Jeff and his team on board here with the War Room. Austin, how are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. It's Tuesday. It's been a long week. So I'm excited to talk a little ball and have a little good time going on tonight. How are you doing?
It's been a week. So go ahead and bring on our guest for the night.
Yeah, so tonight we have Missouri alum legend. You may have seen her on a golf course and confused her with Scotty Scheffler. You may have seen her throw a football and confuse her with Chase Daniel. Fun fact, she's a better quarterback than Chase Daniel could ever be. But with that being said, we are pleased to welcome our very special guest, Maggie Johnson.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Maggie. How's it going?
Well, good, except we've already started the Chase Daniel slander, and I wasn't even on the screen yet.
I had to make sure to get some in before you could fully defend him and anything, so...
Yeah,
I was more impressed with the Scotty Scheffler thing. Like, what?
It's so not true. We'll get into it a little bit, but
one of her favorite.
You put one time that you're a golfer on your app. I've changed my bio so many times because people bring stuff up like so often about it and like make fun of me for it. So yeah, I'm just trying to find what sticks.
I can promise you, if you've seen us on a golf course, you would probably make fun of us as well. So happy I can.
It was the 5-putt for me that you said. I'm like, oh yeah, she's one of us. Okay.
Everybody 5 putts. Come on.
Yeah, it's been a while actually. When our scrambles and stuff, we get upset when we actually like 3 or 4 putt now because most of the time we can 2 putt as a squad. So it's been a while for a 5, but not to brag. Maybe a little humble brag or something, but
showing off a little bit over here.
Yeah, so we golf enough to where we should be able to. I don't even say be good. Look like we're no okay. Yeah,
look good, play good. I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely look good. The play good's 50-50, but it's always a good time when you're able to get out there. So
yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and start this off with your origin story. Oh, look at Cody in the comments. Cody, we're going to start there. I'm glad you're joining from the Philippines, whatever time it is there. Appreciate you ignoring your family that's with you for your family that's here on screen. So we appreciate that. But Mags, we'll start with you. When did you first realize that sports, especially football, was kind of your lane?
I guess I realized that you probably don't know this, but I'm from a football family, so birth. I mean, I came out of the womb, and my dad was on a recruiting trip. So no, I mean, I've been around football basically my entire life, watching film with my dad, helping him with playbooks, being in the locker room. It's funny. That's one of the things people joke about. They're like, when they're talking about like women, they're like, if you've never been in the locker room, I'm like, I've been in lots of locker rooms. Like I've been in lots of offices. I've been around lots of coaches. So football's just kind of been in our blood, in our DNA. We love it so much. We're very much like an anti-soccer family. I feel like you're either one or the other. And if you're, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're from a football family, or if you love football, you typically aren't that big into soccer. So we were raised to kind of like just like it. But yeah, basically from the beginning, I've spoken about football in a way with passion. Haven't always like had a want to work in it, just because there's not a lot of money in sports, as most people know who are listening to this if they're involved in sports. But that's where, the podcast and social media and stuff plays in, because it's a great creative outlet for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of what you meant by, when we had Haley Lewis on, you were like, wow, like pretty similar stories, just kind of grew up around it.
And she's from the Kansas City area, right? So I was raised in Sedalia. I'm from, we'll kind of get into this a little bit, but I was born in Omaha from Western Iowa. But we lived in Sedalia for most of my middle school and high school. So she's a little bit younger than me, but we did that circuit. Like I spent so much time in Kansas City at those same stadiums and, going on those recruiting trips and things like that. So yeah, I was listening to her and I was like, oh my gosh, we're basically the same person.
Yeah. And again, with her, football background, obviously family, she grew up around the same. So it's literally the whole, very, very similar to what you guys were kind of alluding to. So growing up, was there like who or what kind of shaped your competitive edge the most? And hopefully it wasn't Missouri football.
No, they weren't good when I was growing up. My dad, obviously, like he's a Missouri Hall of Fame football coach. He's in the Hall of Fame at my high school for basically what my dad did at every school that we ever went to a super terrible program and made them competent to good. Like my brother played in the quarterfinals his senior year of high school, things that my high school would have never imagined 10, 15 years before we even got there. So my dad is definitely that person. He always wanted us to do our best, be our best, whether it be at sports, whether it be education, anything. Like he wanted us to be the best people that we could be. I was actually voted most competitive in my senior class, and it's really no surprise. I am a very competitive person, and I would say I get most of that, from my dad.
That's awesome. So in sports, like I'm just gonna guess, and we'll touch on it a little bit later, but I'm gonna guess with your shoe game, you were definitely a baller growing up in basketball. Did that competitive edge ever, I don't want to say get the best of you, but like when you were playing as well, did it show?
Oh yeah. I was, a lot of our like rival schools didn't like me. I don't want to call myself a dirty player, but I was a passionate player. I was very, intentional with the things that I did, and I got under their skin a lot. And that was just the kind of game that I like to play. I'm
that
also like
Green game. Okay.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I'm almost 5'10", which is, that's pretty tall for a girl. So that basketball was obviously probably the sport I was best at. I loved volleyball. I played that. That's probably my favorite sport to play. And then I also, I ran track and I swam. My family, we all grew up swimming. Our coach was an Olympic gold medalist. We're hardcore swimmers growing up as well. So yeah, basically every sport. I'm friends with 3-year letterman, and I like to joke that, I was a four sport letterman.
One up. Yeah. There's that competitive.
I like to give them a little crap about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So a little backstory, part of the bio that you were talking about is you throw a mean spiral. I want to know what's the story behind this mean spiral. Like, can you actually throw a mean spiral? Is this kind of joking-ish, like you being a golfer? Or, what's the backstory to this?
No, I actually learned how to throw a spiral probably when I was 4 or 5 years old, but there is like a story behind it, and it goes back to our first year when we lived in Sedalia. I was in 6th grade, so I was 12 years old. And my brother and I, after a game, are out on the field. We're just like throwing the ball back and forth. We didn't at that point. I'm sure my dad's team lost the game because they were so bad when we first moved there. And we're throwing the ball back and forth. And the bus to pick up the other team to leave was out like on the track. And you just see them crack all of the windows and they start getting off the bus. The players get back off the bus and they're like, holy shit, this is the girls throwing the ball. And the entire team, I don't even remember where they were from. Entire team gets off and they're like, holy crap, like that's awesome. I can't believe like you can throw a ball like that. And yeah, it's still something that like sticks with me from whenever I was younger. And it was a cool moment for me. They didn't say anything about my brother. So. and then he being like an all-state quarterback. So it's kind of funny. But.
You're like, yeah, who's really the better quarterback here? See that intro better than Chase Daniel. I mean, the facts are starting to add up here.
And the competitive edge, of course. I'm like, my brother didn't get that.
Well, here's a topic I never really truly thought I'd ever talk about, but we're going to talk about Mizzou.
Okay.
And I honestly, I don't hate Mizzou as much as I hate K-State, so I'm just going to throw that out there right now. I hate K-State more than Mizzou. So how did your time at Mizzou kind of shape kind of who you are now?
So being from Western Iowa, my dad's actually from Columbus, Ohio. I wasn't born into Mizzou fandom. I chose this pain. I chose this pain. Yes, I chose it, which is actually crazy when other fans, like when we talk about that, they're like, I can't believe you did that to myself. And I'm like, I know, because I could have either, taken that easy road and been an Ohio State fan, or at the time taken the easy road and been a Nebraska fan, because like I was basically raised in the 90s when Nebraska was, killing people. My sister married an Alabama fan, so they're all Alabama fans. So I'm just this like person over here that's like, please just do something, anything. I'm like that, whatever that meme is when they're like tapping with the stick. Yeah. I'm like, please just do something. But no, I went to every game while I was at Mizzou, and I was there during a great time. Like obviously we don't win any national championships, but I got to see, Chase Daniel be a Heisman finalist and be a game away. And obviously that 2007 game against Kansas, and I was there and it was amazing. Saw some good basketball under Suitcase Mike Anderson. So yeah, got to experience some cool times. I worked for Missouri volleyball for a bit. I did an internship with Missouri volleyball. It made me a very loyal, like I joke. I'm like, I'm such marriage material because I'm loyal. How can you not be? But you can't jump ship, like not when you're such a competitive person. So yeah, no. I loved my time at Mizzou. I would say even over the years I've become more of a diehard, but yeah, I'm a Tiger through and through.
I've been working on we had Chris Harris on earlier, probably 2 or 3 months ago. I think it was right before the end of the season for the Broncos. And obviously Chris Harris played in that game with, the KU Mizzou rivalry. And there's a clip that I'm getting ready to post on our social media that talks about that game and how Chris was kind of disappointed that there was more Mizzou fans kind of rocking Arrowhead than there was KU fans. But he said that the atmosphere was absolutely wild and kind of what we want to get back to. We want those, KU Mizzou rivalry games. So, we'll watch a Mizzou game every now and then when they're on TV, and it's again SEC stuff. So did you have something before?
No, I was just I don't necessarily have a lot or any Missouri people in my life. I don't know if that's by choice. It probably is. So I'm actually curious because I want to go back to that when Missouri won that game. And then KU ended up getting the BCS bid. Like how did Missouri fans actually feel about that? Because I imagine pretty upset, but I've never actually talked to a Missouri person about it. So I think this is probably one chance in my life.
Did you live in Missouri? I was living in my sorority house. I was a sophomore. And I called my dad crying. I don't know if I've ever been, and I remember I was like, it's so unfair. I was like, it's so unfair. I specifically remember giving that phrase. And here's the thing is I think every Kansas fan agrees. I think every Kansas fan agrees that, you can nod your head no, but that because Missouri won that game, that they should have been in the better bowl. And I get that they had less wins, but that was kind of the problem with those committees at the time, is that everything was all about wins and losses, and they didn't care. They didn't care about the head-to-head. Now I appreciate at least the fact, and obviously the playoff system is a nightmare right now. Yeah. But I appreciate the fact that they don't let those additional games hurt you. Yeah. Because Mizzou also had a bunch of injuries during that Oklahoma game. And I mean, they spanked us. They spanked us twice. But here's the thing is Kansas didn't have to play Oklahoma. Kansas didn't have to play Texas. Kansas played the bottom 3 teams from the Big 12 South. So it's like, I get it. And they ended up winning that game. Obviously, they beat Virginia Tech, which, like, yay, good for them. But
Yay.
that was still Missouri's game, and Missouri should have been in that Orange Bowl.
I think that's, and I mean this with all due respect, I think that's what makes it even sweeter. Like, yes, it was an Orange Bowl victory, but honestly, after losing that Missouri game, I truly thought that, you know, the dream of a BCS game for Kansas was over.
And Missouri ended the season ranked higher than Kansas.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, we did spank Darren McFadden and Arkansas in that Cotton Bowl. So, I mean, it does make sense. And they beat Kansas, so it's like, how can you not put them there? But it is typically weird to see a team that won their BCS Bowl get jumped by a team that didn't win a BCS Bowl.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it, but yeah,
sure.
no, I didn't know if I'd ever have a chance to ask a Missouri fan that, because I think this is my first interaction with one ever. So
you're such a liar.
He is lying. We live in St. Louis. There's plenty of Missouri fans.
Yeah,
around here.
I'm like, you guys literally live like down
he
the
works
street.
with Mizzou alums, so
we don't talk football.
don't let him lie to you like that.
We don't talk football.
I'm like, I know for sure that you live in St. Louis, so.
I do. I usually talk about Cubs Cardinals because I don't ever talk Missouri, but let's go to your favorite memory, kind of repping Mizzou, either before, during, or after your time there, like your favorite Missouri moment, kind of.
Well, Missouri moment, I think, is kind of hard to put put out there, because I don't know, like, there's so many games I could say, like Missouri and Oklahoma, that game was that 2010, where they were the number 1 team in the country, like games like that. But honestly, in terms of being a fan that reps Mizzou, like right now is my favorite time. Like right. I've worked pretty hard on, like, you know, trying to build up this brand and build up what I'm doing on social media and things like that. And right now, where people come up to me in public and ask if I'm Maggie, or just say MIZ when I'm not wearing MIZ stuff, so I kind of know already that they know or have an idea, like things like that, I just have a blast with it. And I love getting just to talk ball with normal fans, and for them to, you know, be like, oh, I'm glad you actually know what you're talking about, and you're not just like reading off of a sheet of paper or something. So yeah, I would say right now I'm having a lot of fun being a Mizzou fan and repping Mizzou.
Love that. I'm trying to think of I
can tell you my favorite Missouri moment. Do you want to know?
Probably not.
So let's take you back. It's been a few years. Did you go back to that beautiful Saturday afternoon at Allen Fieldhouse when there was a shot that was supposed to be going up and Thomas Robinson blocked it?
Oh, when he got fouled? Yeah.
Nah.
I didn't recall a foul being called, but
I'm sure you didn't.
Even in the NBA, that wouldn't have been a foul.
Well,
no,
that was a foul. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. But that's probably my favorite. That's probably my favorite moment.
I gotta say, you got what you deserved with all the Missouri. Was it Missouri or was it maybe Texas? I think it was Missouri when they were making fun of Thomas Robinson's family member passing away.
Here's the thing you have to remember is that what the Antlers do is not what everybody does.
No, there's bad ones. I know, but it was still enough.
But it's also the same. We'll just say like Missouri fans, but then also like last week there were Jayhawk fans saying stuff about Ahmad Hardy getting, you know, whatever happened to him down in Mississippi. So it's kind of like both fan bases are very guilty of doing things, but like, I wouldn't say the whole Kansas fan base is like get what they deserve because of that fan saying that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, we had a comment that said if that was SGA going up for that final shot, it would have been a foul. So yeah, I think that plays a part. Also got a home whistle. I was actually trying to think of something pro Missouri. And the only thing that comes to mind, because I love special teams, is when that really thick kicker hit that like 61-yard game winner
against K-State.
Yeah. Also because I hate K-State, so like.
Well, K-State fans were terrible that week leading.
They
up.
are
like
terrible.
Not even that
terrible.
week.
They're terrible every week.
They're worse
even
than
out of
Missouri
season.
fans.
Yeah.
Seriously,
well,
it's awful.
And we had went there the year before, and everybody kind of knows how that played out. Like we got whooped, but you know. they were a very strong run team with Deuce Vaughn that year, and there was a 3-hour rain delay. So when we're trying to pass the ball to Luther Burden and you know, doing things like that, it's a little bit harder to run the game that you want to play against that type of team. So of course K-State came out and, you know, dominated us on the ground. And then early in the season, being able to do that against them the next year, which we talk about on our podcast, was you could have went into that game and lost that game, and you could have done what K-State did and probably went 8-4. Probably, you know, you probably lost that game to Florida where we had a 4th and 17. You're just probably not pulling those wins out. I think it definitely changed the trajectory of our season, and it changed the trajectory of K-State season. Not even K-State season. It might be K-State's like seasons. I would say like that game, since that game, they've like plummeted a lot.
I'm not going to say thank you to Missouri, but, you know, maybe just a little tip of the cap and go our separate ways.
It was a hell of a kick. It was a hell of a kick.
It was. And it's weird because, like, in football, I love special teams, right? Like, everyone's, like, high-flying or something. But, like, Matt, our co-host who's currently deployed right now, love you, Matt. Me and him, we're both really big special teams people. And so when I was trying to think of a Missouri moment, I'm like, a 61-yard field goal at any level is impressive. But especially in college, like, you start getting to 50 in college, and those are long. So
well, we had that 5-yard penalty too. That delay of game because Drink wasn't paying attention. So all of those things kind of happened, and then they made it. And I think half the stands were crying. I was laughing because I knew I was going to get a poll, like so many receipts. Like I was so excited for that. And I knew fans were going to have to delete their accounts because they promised, and it was just great. Like nobody could say nothing to me that day.
So what's something people don't know about being a Mizzou athlete and student?
I don't know so much about like being like an athlete because I wasn't a Mizzou athlete, but I would just say like how awesome Columbia is and how awesome campus is. Like Mizzou, because it's in the SEC and is considered still a new SEC team, a lot of people don't go there. They just assume like it's not a great town. It's not a great campus or, you know, all of those things. But I mean, Mizzou's a botanical garden. It's a beautiful campus. It reminds me, I've been to a lot of the SEC stadiums, and it reminds me a lot of Athens, Georgia, which is, you know, considered one of the top college campuses, downtowns in the entire country, not just the SEC. I think Mizzou is a lot like that. So I'm always encouraging people to come. The people are very hospitable. Like we always throw big tailgates and everybody's invited. I think you get that real Midwestern charm. Like you guys know, you're Midwesterners. Like you get that real Midwestern charm and not like that Southern fakeness that sometimes comes when you go to some of those other SEC schools.
Well, I have a bunch of high school kids that work for me, and I'd say about 90% of them actually do end up going to Mizzou. And then when I catch back up with them, when they come back during break, I mean, they always say how awesome campus is. And we don't get too far into what campus life outside of schoolwork is because I'm like still professional. I don't need to know. I know what you're doing, but I don't need to know what you're doing. So, but yeah, I mean, I've never been to the campus. I mean, we drive through Columbia often when we go back to Kansas, but we never stop.
Yeah, you just get those 170 chain or I-70 chain restaurants and all of that stuff. But you gotta make your way in.
Hit up highway right there.
Yeah, hit up Trops. You know, get yourself a nice little slushy drink. Go on campus. It's really, the columns are beautiful. Like it's one of the coolest landmarks that I also, again, feel like nobody ever talks about when they're talking about like beautiful campuses. Like it's such a unique thing. And yeah, I just think it's amazing. I take everybody there to get their photos if they come in town.
Yeah, no, I think I say the same thing every time we drive by. Like, oh wow, it smells like shit. We must be by Columbia.
That's such a Kansas fan thing to say. Like every Kansas fan I know says that. I'm like, okay.
Like, once we cross the state line to get back in on the Kansas side of things and like get closer to home, we're like, yeah, it just smells better. Like it just fresh air smells so good.
I would say something, but I'm not gonna say it.
I would say this is a family rated. It's really, I mean,
yeah. Well, I'll say it later.
Cannot wait. I have actually been on campus. The first job I had here, I had to go there and work on campus a couple times at the credit union there. And I will say, for the most part, people are friendly. I don't know if nice is what I would describe, but I didn't like tour the whole campus. It's just like one little section. So I will use your expertise and say, if you think it's nice, then we'll go with that.
I do.
I don't plan on going back.
You wouldn't even go for if Kansas was playing a football game there?
I would get stabbed.
We didn't go to the KU game last year, and they played there.
Nobody got stabbed.
And
No,
the basketball
I will.
team.
Oh, but you guys did have one media person that's like, I wouldn't go there and I'd do this. And then he got like ratioed to the moon. So
I have too much of a mouth on me to go to places like that. Yeah.
I didn't even try to say something. An old guy tried to fight me in an Oklahoma State game.
Yeah.
So it's like,
eh.
that's just like being a KU fan, I guess. The old people just want to fight you. And I'm like, what?
I'm planning on going to Lawrence in September. We'll see. I've actually also only driven through. So
Yeah.
Lawrence is actually kind of nice.
eh.
Now there's shitty parts of it like any other place, but
I like any
yeah.
college town, any city.
But Mass Street's legendary, so you'll have a blast.
Eh, we'll see.
I can 100% guarantee you'll have a blast.
If you like to have a good time, you would enjoy Mass Street. I'm not saying you're going to walk away like loving Lawrence or become like a KU fan all of a sudden, but you will have a good time. Anyway, let's go into the social media grind for you. So what kind of pushed you into the content media space?
So I've been active on Twitter for a while, and I started doing like right after COVID, they were really big on those Twitter spaces. So I started getting into those and kind of, diving in with Oklahoma fans and Texas fans and Alabama fans. And I actually have like a really cool group of friends that I've met like through doing those spaces. But my friends actually pushed me into it because I had received a message on Twitter from BJ Kissel, which I don't know if I'm sure you guys know who he is since one of you likes the Chiefs, it looks like. And he was like, we really want to start a college section with the KC Sports Network. Would you be interested in talking to me? And we'll see if it's a good fit. You were recommended by a couple of people, which ended up being my co-host. I was recommended by and Jarrett Sutton, who played basketball also on those teams whenever I was in school. So very cool. I was sitting on a balcony. This is like such a humble brag, but I was sitting on a balcony in Greece with my friend in like the summer of 2022. And I was telling her about it. I was like, I don't know if I want to be in front of a camera. Like people are so mean and people are going to say all of these things. And she's like, yeah, but like, what if you don't do it? Like, won't you regret not doing it? And who cares what people say? And a couple of weeks later, when I got back from my trip, I messaged him and I'm like, let's do it. Let's see how it goes. If I don't like it, I don't have to do it forever. And now we start our season 5 here in the summer. So yeah, I'm blessed. I'm excited I did it. Again, not sure if it'll be like a forever thing, but so many cool opportunities have come from it. I've met a lot of awesome people. So yeah, that's kind of just how I got into it.
Yeah, I think that's the underrated thing about content creating. Like when we started this podcast, so just us two, roughly 2 years ago now, if you would have told us now we'd be talking to former NFL players and obviously other great content creators, I'd have been like, you're an idiot. There's no way we would do this. But we've gotten to talk to awesome football players, great content creators. And I was in here like, holy shit, this is us. We get to do this every week. It's like, yeah, this is kind of fun. Good thing we definitely did. I just had a wild hair and was like, hey, we should do a podcast. And he's like, you buy this stuff and we'll do it.
Cool.
Here we are. So yeah, I think that's the most underrated part of the content creating stuff. So with that, co-hosting the Mizzou, That's Who, what makes that show so special?
I think it's really just that Tucker and I, Tucker Franklin, you should go follow him as well. We're just fans. Like we're just fans talking ball. And then we like to bring like cool guests on to, that other people want to hear about. So they don't just hear from us every week and hear our opinions. I think we're also very like kind of down to earth fans. Like if I don't think we're going to win a game, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, Mizzou 40-10. But like, I mean, sometimes you see that from I don't want to say makeshift podcast, but like when anybody can do a podcast, a fan podcast, like you get that a lot. So I feel like him and I are both very realistic, but yeah, we bring these people on. Like we had Alyssa Lang on last season. We had John Anderson of ESPN and Wipeout. If you guys are fans of him or fans of him, we had Jeremy Macklin on last year, Pat Forty on. We've had some awesome guests, and it's really just allowed me also to like build my network up. And, you know, now I have some really, really cool people that follow me that I feel like I can reach out to. So yeah, I feel like we just kind of separate ourselves, and it's not so much about us talking as it is about bringing other people on to give their expert advice as well.
Like we're doing with you. We brought the expert on to share the ball knowledge.
Jeremy Macklin, one of St. Louis's legendary athletes, which the list just keeps growing. Crazy. Yeah. Jeremiah Love, obviously now. And
he's a head coach at Kirkwood. He's doing great there. Yeah, Jeremiah Love, Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, the list really does just go on and on with the type of people that you're bringing in. It kind of sucks because Mizzou doesn't secure a lot of those players, and hopefully, with Luther Burden coming in, like we can, try to get some of those guys. But I still understand. Like I understand the allure of playing at Notre Dame. Like, right. You get it. You understand why people want to go play at Ohio State. It's hard to recruit against those teams because of things like that. Justin Smith, who played at Mizzou and was a stud at Mizzou, his son just committed to play at Ohio State. So it stinks, but it's still cool to see St. Louis players and, them growing up and doing those things and being successful where they go.
Well, I know with even like Mizzou, with obviously St. Louis here and then Kansas City, Lawrence and Kansas City, obviously. So I think that's what KU and Mizzou kind of both have in common is we lose out on the Kansas City kids as well because they'll go to Nebraska. I see a bunch that are going to Georgia, all these other places. And you're just sitting here like, well, we want to go get the Kansas kids. Now you got Brent Venables at Oklahoma, who's obviously a Kansas person himself. So he's coming into Kansas. And it's just like, what can we do in this NIL era? Like there's got to still be some kind of aurora to come to play for some of these schools. And it's just like, there's really not. It's all about
the name on the front of the jersey still matters. And I like Nick's, I know Nick Saban talked a lot about how he didn't like NIL and, a bunch of coaches are talking about how they don't like it, but the name on the front of their jersey still matters so much. And until you do, I think Indiana is like doing really good at this. Like they're making Indiana cool. I don't know if the long-term success can be there. We'll see. I think they'll struggle this year without Mendoza, but I still think that they're bringing in these guys and they're in these final recruiting battles with the Georgias and Alabamas and Ohio States. And I think once you can get your foot in the door and at least be that type of program, you have a better shot at least of landing a couple of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we'll see. We're still whiffing a lot.
Yeah, and I do want to just say that I can respect that you're not one of those Missouri's going to win every game type deals because I posted my Chiefs predictions recently, and then I was told I was a closet Broncos fan because I wasn't sure Chiefs would win week 1.
And called a closet Raiders fan last year, and one of our co-hosts still calls him a closet Raiders fan.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm this like, yes, I could say Chiefs are going to win by 30 every game, but like. That's not an honest hit. Nobody wins every game, first of all. But so I just want to point that out that I can respect you. And I definitely follow Tucker and he's hilarious. And I can say for certain that you guys aren't necessarily those homer types. You are more fun.
I do get called a sunshine pumper a lot. And I'm like, what are we even talking about? I was like, I feel like I'm not like that at all, but
yeah, no, we know, especially of our own fan bases, we know the fans that are like that, and you're like, I'm not like that, like leave me alone.
I'm just different on the timeline, like, and that's the thing I try to tell everybody. I'm like, find a safe space, find a friend you can message, a group chat, something like that. I'm like, don't put the toxic stuff on the timeline, like find a safe space.
Exactly. Yeah. So the final one for this media segment, what's kind of been your like, oh, wow, this is real life moment in the media content part so far?
I honestly think in 2023, when we had that big season, and I think a lot of fans were traveling to games, and that was the year I went to Athens. And my friend that went with me was an Ole Miss fan, but we both have friends through the Twitter space that we like hung out with while we were there. And I'm walking down to my seat, and the amount of people that like stopped me to like shake my hand or to say, thank you for doing what you do. Thanks for defending us always on the timeline, things like that. I honestly think that was one of my like favorite moments, because it was just like so reassuring that as a female in this space that people are respecting it, because not everybody, like, you still get those haters and those people that are like, oh, you shouldn't be talking about this because you're the wrong gender or whatever. But that just like kind of solidified that the things that I'm doing are getting through to people. And yeah, I would say that was one of my like favorite moments of starting to work in the content creation media space. I don't consider myself in the media. I will say that though.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to make that clear to a lot of people. Like, I'm not in the media.
Right. It's a fine line.
There's a difference.
There's a fine line, but there is a difference for sure.
I agree.
So let's talk golf. Segment 4 here.
Okay.
So let's, like, what kind of golfer are you? Let's be honest. Is it like a scratch, or just, just want to go out and try to hit that little white ball?
So when I first started golfing, so I went to the driving range for like 3 years before I was brave enough to actually play. And I started dating somebody, and he was like, let's just go golfing. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. But I've been hitting the ball for like 3 years. So we go out there, and of course I'm like nervous to be hitting in front of people, especially on the weekends, because it's backed up so far and people are watching you. Yeah. And then I realized you watch other people too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And other people, if they're playing on the same courses that I'm playing at, and I'm not playing at Augusta National, I'm not playing at Pebble Beach, like I'm playing in Missouri or Illinois. They are just as bad as me. Everybody is just as bad. They're whiffing, they're shanking, it's in the woods, they're losing balls. And once I like got to that mindset that everybody stinks at golf unless you're, playing all of the time or a professional or whatever. Like my friend Logan in Kansas City, he plays in a league. He doesn't suck. He's actually very good at golf. But most people are not good. So once I got past that, I was like, okay, I can actually just have fun. I would say I'm decent for a girl that has only played, for a few years. I've played for like 3 years now. I say I'm okay. But just like everybody else, I have bad driving days, or I have bad putting days, or I typically always have bad iron days. I mean, that's pretty standard for me. But like I'm just working on it. I'm working on it every time I can. I work on it. My biggest thing is I'm trying to work on my my fairway driver, my 5 and 6 game, because I don't drive it super far, so I need that. But yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
I thought she was leaning towards vibes, and then that like competitive edge showed there at the end where she was like, not bad, but I really am trying to work on this shit because like I need it.
Yeah, I do. Like I want to be better, because I don't want like one day if I like get married, or if I get married or do anything like that, like I don't want to be sitting at home all the time. Like I would also like to go out and, have a hot dog at the turn, or so,
Exactly.
do some, like I don't want to be doing stuff by myself all the time while they're out golfing. So yeah, I mean, I like the vibes. I like, dressing up and looking cool, looking cute. And my clubs are awesome. So if you've seen my clubs,
the Missouri
it's decked out. It's decked out Mizzou. It's all Mizzou.
I'm not saying it's cool. I'm saying I've seen them. Don't.
I'm not here to judge people's clubs. Like, you do what you got to do. It's your golf bag.
I mean, you probably think it's cool though. That's fine.
We'll go with that.
It's clean. I think, it's clean and nice looking.
Yeah, they are clean. The putter head's the best, but
my favorite.
I'll put it back on Twitter again, just so everybody can see it again.
Yeah, my favorite is just swinging and yelling for right immediately, because it's like, shit, it's going that way. Or I gotta wait a few minutes because these guys right over here, they're in my zone. So
2 fairways over.
Fairways over, and I can't hit it 2 fairways over. I can say that I can hit 2 fairways over. If I could just hit it straight, I'd be set up perfectly every time. But I don't know if the last time I actually hit one straight.
Well, it's always funny too when you're golfing, because you're on the tee and there's somebody up closer to the hole, or if it's maybe in the middle if it's a par 5, and you wait for them to go, as if you can hit it as far as they're actually standing.
I was just,
which is
yeah.
If
Never-
I really got into this shot, I could make it green, so I'm not going to swing right now. And it's like
right.
250,
Like,
275.
Never ever happens, but it's so funny to just like always have that confidence in yourself whenever you're going out on the course, and then you get humbled really fast.
Yeah.
Quickly.
It's always well, if I got one good shot, I think I could hit him. And it's like, I've never done one good shot.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
never
hit
hit the
them.
ball that far. I've never driven the ball 275, 300 yards, so I'm not gonna hit
But
them.
that one time you do.
Yeah. Well, they better
For
just tell me
real.
congratulations for hitting them because that's the first. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
So golf, always fun to talk about and everything, but what's kind of your go-to off day reset if you're not working or talking ball, something Missouri related? Like, what's your go-to?
Something Missouri related?
Not Missouri related.
Oh,
I
not
know-
Missouri related.
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I love a farmer's market. I love laying out by the pool. I love hanging out with my non-sports friends as well because they keep me in check. Like they do not give a shit about what sports game is on. I mean, if we're at a game, they're into it. But
Right.
like it's it's not me checking my phone all the time because we're actually like communicating. So yeah, I love to go on like really long walks. I think I tweeted something about how they're like hot girl walks. Like I love to like do things like that. So I'm really, just a chill girl. Love spend time with my family, go to concerts, travel. I just got back from Montana. Yeah, I've traveled a few times this year because I don't get to travel as much in the fall when football's always going on. So yeah, try to make time for those things that kind of keep you grounded a little bit.
Notice how she didn't say Cardinals games.
I go to Cardinals games. I live a mile from the stadium. I don't even know what the score is. 5-4. If we win, I'll be able to hear the fireworks before it even pops up on the phone.
That's pretty
That's how
cool.
close I live. Yeah.
Okay.
So if it wasn't sports, so if you weren't doing anything sports related, like with the content creating, what would you be doing?
So sports is not like my full-time job anyways. It is like my creative outlet, but I would love to do like travel writing, travel blogging, things like that, because I've lived on 3 continents. I lived in China for a bit, Italy for a bit, and I'm a very independent person, so I like going out and doing those things. I'm very outgoing, extroverted. So I could see myself wanting to, review hotels or review restaurants or do something like that. Like that would be, if I didn't have to be here so often, would love it.
We'll get her to Cody's hotel. He's a GM out in California for his.
See?
I wouldn't like
Alright.
grade hotel, but you put me on one of them food channels
Ooh.
shows where I could go around and just test all these like cheeseburgers and all these other like certain foods. I'm not,
Barbecue.
certain foods. No, I'll leave that to everybody. But like diners, drive-ins, and I'll test your food. Like,
Yeah.
let's go.
I would easily be like, oh, you want to feed me a taco at all of these restaurants? I will taste test I will do all of that. And I will give us a phenomenal
Yeah.
review. Like I'm a big time Yelp person. I love going to restaurants and putting up stuff on Yelp because I love reading other people's stuff on Yelp. So like that's just something that I like to do.
Well, and that stuff helped. Like when we first moved here and like we didn't know anything about any of the restaurants, I am someone that goes and looks at reviews. So that's very helpful and very appreciated.
And
Right, like, I wanna hear from the
correctly
people.
label it. I would like you to know it's correctly labeled whenever I put it in there because I can't stand when it's not.
Yeah,
That's fair.
that's hilarious.
Like if you're showing me like I said a taco, you need to tell me what kind of taco it is. You can't just be like that's a taco. I need it to be correctly labeled.
Like, first of all, is this a real taco or is this like a Tex-Mex taco? Like, first of all, what are we working with here? No, I get it. Well, that's fun. It does seem like, you have a little bit of fun in life in general. So we're going to bring you back down a little bit and enter you back into the darkness and talk a little bit about football. So current state of Mizzou football, what's kind of a real outlook for them?
I mean, Mizzou's looking better now than they were looking 5 years ago. I think Drink has done a relatively good job. Now, obviously, I think there's some big games that he needs to be winning. That Alabama game last year where we lost by 3 in a winnable game. But the biggest problem is that we haven't struck gold on a quarterback yet. I think that once he strikes gold on a quarterback and he kind of, has those pieces all together. And don't get me wrong, I love Brady Cook. I love Brady Cook's family. I think what he did for Mizzou was great. But you go back to that 2023 season, and I think if you have that Jaden Daniels piece, who was rumored to be coming to Mizzou, and then some things happened. But I think if you have that piece, you're winning. You definitely win the LSU game because he's the reason that LSU beat us, And then I think that Georgia game is probably he's not throwing a pick to a defensive lineman. So yeah, I think if he can strike gold on a quarterback, I think that we have a good chance. I really like our team this year. I think it's underrated. Obviously, the Ahmad Hardy thing sucks a lot. Oh, and we'll probably get into that a little bit more, but I like our defense. I think we really improved in the secondary. I think that was probably our biggest issue last year. I think our wide receiver game is good. We brought in one of Austin Simmons' favorite targets from Ole Miss as well. Our offensive line is pretty experienced. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the year. I think our schedule's a lot harder than it was last year, but it'll be interesting to see if we can come out and win some of those big games.
Yeah, and obviously you guys got Ole Miss quarterback Austin Simmons transferred in. He was, I think it was kind of you guys from the start. I don't think there was anybody else that was rumored once they kind of knew he was going into the transfer portal. Mizzou was able to land him quickly. So who's one player that, people maybe need to be talking about right now?
So when I brought up Ahmad Hardy's injury, it would be crazy for me to not say Jamal Roberts. And he is the backup running back for Mizzou from St. Louis, played as a great backup running back last year. I put this on Twitter a while ago because people want to talk so much about how good Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price were last year. Well, look at Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts' stats. Ahmad Hardy had better stats than Jeremiah Love. Jamal Roberts had better stats than Jadarian Price. So you're looking at this and you're excited still because you know that you have a backup running back that can run the damn ball. Like he can run the damn ball. He actually is. Ahmad Hardy wasn't big in the pass game because that's when they would bring in Jamal. So that's why those numbers for Ahmad Hardy aren't really there, but they are there for Jamal Roberts. So he's the player I would say, if you're thinking that Mizzou doesn't have a chance without Ahmad Hardy, I would think again.
I'm looking more on like the defensive side because you guys, obviously, I don't know what you guys are bringing back and whatnot, but I think you guys lost quite a bit to the NFL.
Mainly on the defensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Zion Young's a big loss. Chris McClellan's a big loss, but you still have some guys in there, some transfers that came in from Georgia a couple of years ago. You brought in Woodyard, who's the linebacker, probably the best 1-for-1 switch for Josiah Trotter that you could possibly get. If you watched Auburn play at all last year, you know that their defense was not their issue. Like their defense was good. And we got a couple of guys that came over from Auburn. So I'm really, I think we'll struggle a little bit more getting at the quarterback. We also lost Damon Wilson, who decided to go play at Miami for we know why. Yeah. But decided to go play at Miami. So yeah, that type of stuff sucks. Like you lose it, but you still have some guys on that D line that can ball out. And we've been recruiting that D line strong the past few years, and really coaching those guys up, and somebody will kind of come out of nowhere that they didn't think was going to be good. So yeah, I think we're going to be okay. I think our back seven is stronger than our front seven, but I'm not that worried about it yet.
Okay. We'll be paying close attention to him this year.
Yeah, I'm sure
I would say I would talk more shit, but it's like I gotta remember I'm a KU football fan, so like
can't say shit.
I honestly can't say anything. Do I love watching KU football for about a quarter, maybe a half? But I'm still a fan, so.
I guess that makes me think about that though, because you guys should know who Jamal Charles. Or I keep saying Jamal Charles because
I was like, that's my dog.
I keep seeing all the Chiefs stuff in your background. Jamal Roberts. You guys should know who he is because he made that big run to kind of blow the lead open in that game. Yeah.
Fully aware of the Missouri running backs. I do know that.
Yeah.
And that big ass, the tight end, I believe the tight end just came out of nowhere.
And so that's Brett Norfleet. He's from Eureka, Missouri, which is outside of St. Louis, and he's back as well. He's a huge when he's healthy, he's a huge target. I think he could definitely be an NFL tight end. He just needs to stay healthy, and we've struggled with that. But he will be back, and that's another massive target for Austin Simmons.
Yeah, speaking of Jamal Charles, I know the Chiefs isn't necessarily, your main focus in the football world, but you have any thoughts on him this year? Any thoughts on Nick Bolton, little Missouri guys, Did you think he would be this good in the NFL? But kind of just in general thoughts on the Chiefs. And then if you want to give your Missouri guys some love, we'll allow it.
I do love Nick Bolton. I think, he was a big reason that Super Bowl went how it went a couple of years ago. And I wish he would have had that second scoop and score, because I think that would have been huge. But no, I like the Chiefs to be better this year than they were last year. I think they had some untimely luck, and I think the defense, they were spending a little bit of money in places that they shouldn't have been spending money on. I think they got rid of some players on the offensive line that they definitely should have gotten rid of. So yeah, I like the pieces that they added in the offseason. Obviously, they got rid of Pacheco and they brought in
Kenneth Walker.
Yes. I always confuse him and the other one. But yes, brought him in. I think I can see them at maybe that 11-6, 10-7 mark, being in that competitive spot to make that divisional round. And when it's the Chiefs, I would not bet against the Chiefs in the playoffs. So, I could see them making that AFC title game. Especially if you're going to get Patrick Mahomes back healthy. And I've heard that he's just making incredible strides. I hear his rehab has gone swimmingly. So yeah, I would not bet against the Chiefs ever, as long as Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback of that team.
That's fair. Spoken like a true ball knower. I think I actually had him at 11 wins as well. I think what everyone saw, though, is I had Denver sweeping the Chiefs because, let's be real, Denver's returning everyone and they're a good team.
But here's my thing with Denver. It's the same thing, my thing with Patriots. Their schedule's harder this year. I think some of the games that they had at home last year, they have more on the road. Patriots and Denver both had relatively pretty easy schedules last year. So it'll be interesting to see if, Bo Nix makes that stride forward, or if he, kind of goes back to the Bo Nix that maybe we expected him to be a little bit.
Ooh, we got a Bo Nix hater. I love Bo Nix.
I'm not hating on him. I just don't know if I like Justin Herbert better than I like Bo Nix. But
oof, that's real worthy for Broncos folks.
Sorry.
I tell you what.
Well, I've said Justin Herbert was better than Bo Nix as of right now. So that's not anything I haven't said either. So
I said for Broncos people. You're not Broncos people. You're kind of like the rest of us. We're realistic fans with our people. For the most part. Sometimes I get a little carried away with some people. But yeah, no, I know you're more Missouri based, and so I wanted to get a little Chiefs in there and then a little Nick Bolton talk, because I see a lot of Chiefs fans hating on Nick Bolton because he's not necessarily the fastest or this great pass coverage guy or whatever. And I'm like, but he's a key part of a lot of Super Bowl defenses for us. So yeah. I can like him now that he's a Chief.
He's clearly the that middle of the field leader for that Chiefs defense. And I think that he's respected amongst his team. I think he's respected amongst the coaching staff. Yeah, I think there's things that he, I don't think he's probably the best linebacker in the league, but I think he plays, smart typically. Sometimes, there's mistakes, but I'm going to love him until the end. So what can I say?
Absolutely. So I want to throw one final question on, well, not final, but I want to throw a question on here that you had no idea is coming.
Oh, great.
It's an SEC question.
Okay.
I'm going to ask it first, and I'll tell you why after. But I want you to just give us your feelings on Oklahoma.
Like the team or the fan?
Yeah. Yeah, just the school and sports wise,
Just that shit program and shitty state and shitty area.
Here's the thing about Oklahoma is I've had my issues with Oklahoma fans on Twitter. I think some of them are crazy. I mean, a lot of them are crazy. But the fans at the game when I was there last year, because I went to Norman last year, were probably the nicest fans that I've dealt with. They very hospitable, very like complimented my outfit like 20 times, which I'm a girl, so we love that. I mean, the in person was fine. I think that the stadium, and it was an early game, so I get that, but I think it's way overhyped for what they call like the Palace is supposed to be. I didn't think that it was I didn't think that it was any type of exciting environment at all. Not when I've been to, Alabama, and I've been to Georgia, and I've been to all of these other crazy stadiums. I didn't feel that. And I do think Oklahoma's still, like you talked about a little bit with Venables coming back and, trying to build that program back to what they were not even that long ago. I mean,
40, 50 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, we're not even talking about like Nebraska here that's struggled for a while. I mean, Oklahoma struggled for like 5 years. So, but yeah, I would love them to not be good because they are, no matter what they say, they are a big rival of Missouri. I think not this year, but next year will be the 100th time that we've played them. Like that's playing a team a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've played them more than they've played Texas, and that's for some reason a big rival. So yeah, that game that we played them in 2024 in Columbia with the scoop and score win was a highlight game for me. Like that was one of those games you just don't forget.
Yeah. No, we asked that, and I was hoping you would honestly talk an incredible amount of shit. Just because a lot of our family's from Oklahoma and they're Oklahoma fans. You're telling me. So I was hoping you would kind of rag on them, but in true Maggie fashion, you showed a little respect. So I guess that's all right. But
you got to be careful because you don't know what's going to get clipped either. Like there's sometimes I've said something and it's gotten clipped. I'm like, oh my gosh, you didn't say, like, I barely said that.
No, I mean, we might because it would have been towards Oklahoma, but no, that's fine. We're going to jump into this final segment, lightning round, just kind of one word, short answers. Corey has the first question, but I want to say you can't say Brad Smith.
Okay.
Favorite QB of all time.
Chase Daniel.
Damn, would it be Brad Smith if you could say it?
So somebody asked this on Twitter. They were like, who's the best Mizzou player of all time? And for me, it was Brad Smith did a lot of the dirty work to get guys like Chase Daniel, like Jeremy Macklin, like Donaire Alexander, like those guys at Mizzou. Like he did a lot of that dirty work. But Mizzou still wasn't very good when he was our quarterback. I mean, they were still we were making bowl games, but they weren't as good as what Chase Daniel did. Chase Daniel had more of an X factor. He had more of a chip on his shoulder. He was obviously a Heisman finalist. So it's hard for me to not say Chase Daniel to that question. But I do love and respect Brad Smith.
I would probably judge you a little bit if you said Brad Smith over Chase Daniel, honestly, because I'm like, why is Brad Smith even in discussion here?
Brad Smith's probably one of the Missouri people I actually liked from back in the day. So maybe that was just me thinking if I kind of like him, Missouri people have to love him.
I do like Corby Jones, I think is that's a good one from those like late 90s. And I also I love Drew Lock because he broke a bunch of records, but he didn't have a very good supporting cast. So that was like a hard thing. But even with his lack of supporting cast, he still had the SEC touchdown record for a year. So,
and I had high hopes for Drew. I really did. I just Denver failed him so hard, and
Denver fails a lot of the Missouri players. I feel.
Well, Shane Ray. I thought Shane Ray was on good trajectory, and I don't know what ended up happening there, but yeah, I don't know. It is what it is at this point for me.
Because Missouri Brad Smith, that's the one that turned into like a hell of a receiver and return guy in the NFL, right?
Yeah, he played.
Okay, so it is the same Brad Smith. It's a very common name, so it could have been another Brad Smith.
It is a very common name, you're right.
All right, so next one, coldest game you've ever attended.
There's two. I would say 2024 Arkansas at Missouri. It was like ice and snow everywhere. I have some pictures on my Instagram of it. Like it was crazy. Very cold. People are kicking the ice out of the way. And then honorable mention, 2013 Mizzou at Ole Miss. You would not think that Ole Miss was going to be as cold as it was, but it was ridiculously cold. Like, and we won that game to end up a week later going to
you don't want to sit there, freeze your ass off, and take a loss
and take an L. I know. So thank God we won that game.
That'd make it that much worse.
It was very cold.
One word for Mizzou.
I mean, this is
You guys
gonna
like
this
spelling, so we
this
go
will be a hot,
ASS.
this will be a little bit of a hot take maybe, but underrated. And the reason I'm saying underrated is because when people talk about the teams in the SEC, if they're like laid out best to worst, for some reason Mizzou is always put in that worst area with Arkansas and Mississippi State and like whatever. They're never in that worst area. They typically finish somewhere around the middle. So yeah, it always surprises me when people put them like call them like a bottom dweller or a basement dweller or whatever, because they're never in the basement. So
Then my one word was overrated. So
no way.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well,
But you're saying that as I feel like you're saying that as a Jayhawk and a hater, and not as like actually looking at the numbers, because people will be like, oh, Mizzou's just gonna win 0 conference games again. And I'm like, I don't think we've ever won 0 conference games. So like, but people
that was the basketball.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about football here. Okay,
That doesn't count. Yeah, I get it.
Oh,
that was
well, if it's
one
just
time.
football, then yes. I was thinking Mizzou as a whole. That's my bad.
Yeah, but even then, like I've kind of let that basketball season go. Like I feel like you have to do everything year by year basis. Like you can't be like Mizzou's going to be so bad 3 years ago they didn't win any conference game. You know what I mean?
His
Like
first year as the head coach, like that doesn't.
the second,
Like we.
Well, it's just
That changes everything.
that does change everything. I thought
Kobe Brown's first year was that year we beat Utah State in the tournament. So that was the first year. And then the next year we like lost Kobe. We whiffed on everybody in the portal. Tamar Bates was hurt.
That's
Caleb
right.
Grill was hurt. So like we had all these players that also weren't playing, and that, we lost a bunch of games by like less than 5 points. It was ridiculous.
We've had plenty of 0 to 1 win seasons in our football fandom, so like I can't say a lot.
It's like 40-some straight conference losses or something. I don't remember. Who's counting?
Yeah, not us.
I remember. I'm sorry.
Everyone does. That's all right.
All right. So you're quarterback in Mizzou, game on the line. What route are you wanting to throw?
Post route. We're going deep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going deep.
And for those
Because that's the exciting thing about games, right? Those like those big moments, those big plays, like that's what I want to see, and that's what Mizzou's been lacking. So if I can, get a receiver that I know can beat that secondary, yeah, we're running post route.
Yeah, and for those of you who missed early, we established that Maggie has an arm of a Division I quarterback. So we wanted to know what route she was going to throw.
Yeah, we're gonna go like NAIA.
Oh yeah, it's better than junior varsity.
Better than the average.
Yeah. Most underrated NFL player.
I thought about this one a little bit. I'm going with Juwan Jennings, and I know that might be like a weird pull, but look at all the targets that Brock Purdy has on that team and has had for the last couple of years. And I feel like Juwan Jennings has been a very solid player for them. He just doesn't get the accolades that Kittle and McCaffrey and all of them get.
Well, it's not going to get much better with Justin Jefferson now. So
no,
and Kyler.
Yeah, and Kyler Murray, Oklahoma legend.
Yeah.
dream interview / conversation besides us, obviously.
I'm gonna go with. I have two, and they're actually both Olympic athletes. I'm gonna say Michael Phelps and Simone Biles. I feel like like talking to both of them, you'd get so much cool knowledge, and they've, especially Michael Phelps, who has been, he's obviously not swimming anymore, but he's been around and done so many things. I think that would be awesome. And then I would say honorable mentions like Michael Jordan or something. But
Right.
I would probably fangirl out. So
Mizzou wins one football natty, but KU wins the next 5, or Mizzou and KU never get one ever.
I hate that question so much. That's the worst. That's the worst question ever. If you reverse the order and you were like Kansas wins 5, but then Mizzou wins 1, I would be better with it. But that's like in baseball recently, Ole Miss won the College World Series and then Mississippi State won, and I'm like, that would suck so bad. So I don't know. I might be like, I think I could live without. Like I honestly
I've gone this long.
yeah, I've gone this long. Like I can't take it with me in my grave anyway. So
To be fair, for you, KU wins 1 natty and Missouri wins the next 5, or neither one wins 1?
Neither. I never want success for the.
But that's
rivalry.
easy for you. That's so easy for you to say because you guys know your basketball contenders every year. So it's like
We're not even a basketball school anymore. We're like a baseball school.
oh god,
It's been so rough. We were a 4 seed last year in basketball.
It's
By
like
the
the
way,
last 2 years.
yeah,
You're almost I was gonna say you're always like a top 4 seed.
Yeah, we
But
never
the fact
been
that-
less than 4
But
seed.
the fact that you're like, oh my god, we're not even a basketball school. We are a 4 seed.
It's never been worse than a 4 seed under Bill Self, and we're sitting here like our worst season would be some teams like best ever. So it's like
for
Yeah.
sure.
we
Yeah.
were spoiled.
That's what that's called though, being spoiled.
yeah,
well, yeah. I mean,
But I
I've
relate
never not
because
seen KU in a tournament in my lifetime. That's what I can hang my hat on.
you
and I'm
said you
old.
have. You haven't.
I've never seen
them?
KU not in the tournament. They've been in the tournament
not
every
in the
single year.
tournament. Yeah.
So it's just one of those.
I mean, I get the spoiled thing because like I tell Cardinals fans all the time, and obviously we've had a rough, 5, 7, 8 years.
15 years.
No, we were in the NLCS in 2019. It's been like it
2011.
has been a rough like whatever years, but we played in the World Series in 2013 as well, so it has been rough. But I tell them, I'm like, you're spoiled because you got to watch all of those great years. Like you've always been in the hunt. Even like this year, like we're not supposed to be good. We've been picked last and we're competing with the best, in the best division in baseball right now. So
Still early.
it is very early. And, we still have to play. I think we're still like Brewers are playing Cubs right now. And, we're playing the Pirates right now. So
yeah, we don't need to talk about baseball.
yeah, I know. I saw the score last night of the Cubs game too. So.
Yeah. And tonight.
And tonight, yeah.
Yeah, it's not much better. So as we wrap up, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you at on the socials.
You can find me on Twitter, which is where I'm the most active, the most fun, I would say. You guys can agree with me or not. And that's at Maggie L. Johnson. You can also find our podcast page at KCSN Mizzou. So follow that. Follow KC Sports Network, especially if you love the Chiefs. If you don't follow the KC Sports Network and you love the Chiefs, I don't know what you're doing because it's the #1 Chiefs podcast. So you should definitely be following them. I have nothing to do with that. I'm just, shameless plug. But yeah, you can find me there. You can also find me on Instagram at @mags_J. Super easy. I got my name early on. So at @mags_J.
So I do want to get a couple of these fan questions that we're going to surprise you. We're obviously going to have to get the one that Dick Fowler, PI, asked about, the top 3 singular hot dog toppings.
Well, I don't like that it's just 3 to pick from. So you'll love this. I am a Chicago dog girly. Like I love, except no tomatoes. That's so weird to me. But I love a pickle and those peppers on the hot dogs. So I would pick those. And then I do like ketchup and mustard on my hot dog. I think people that say ketchup can't go on hot dogs are crazy. I think that's such a wild take. But also another weird thing is I don't really like hot dog or hamburger buns. So when you go to Quick Trip and it has that plastic thing, I just throw the bun away and I just have the hot dog and I'm like putting all the toppings on it.
Yeah, I'm not a big bun person either.
It's a waste to me. It's a waste to me.
See, you get it. College Football Home asks, do you pour the milk before or after the cereals in the bowl?
That's so weird. If you pour the milk before the cereal is in the bowl, that is so weird. I don't eat a lot of cereal, but if I do, cereal goes in the bowl and then you just put enough milk to where it just starts to float.
Yeah,
you don't flood it. It's just where it starts to float.
You don't eat much, but you still have a strategy.
I do have a strategy. You have to like, you don't want to waste too much, you know?
All right, and then we're gonna end it with an actual football question that my buddy Red Kingdom asked. It's NFL, and then it was, how would you rank the AFC West quarterbacks today, and then how much of a gap is there between them?
Okay. Do you want me to go 1 to 4 or 4 to 1?
4 to 1.
Okay. 4 is whatever the Raiders got going on. So you got Kirk Cousins and you got Mendoza. I mean, I think Kirk Cousins is probably going to be the starter, at least to start the season. And then based on how he does, Mendoza could possibly come in, but I think there's no way that you can put them higher than 4. And then I'm going to do 2 and 3 are kind of a little bit interchangeable for me. But like I said, I kind of like Herbert's arm a little bit better. So I'm going to do Bo Nix at 3. But like I said, I like where they have the direction the Broncos are going in. I think they can be successful. It'll be interesting to see how they do with their schedule. Then I'm going to put Herbert at 2. I like his arm strength. I think he has elite arm talent, honestly. And then until anybody can do what Patrick Mahomes has done, win 3 Super Bowls, be 3 times Super Bowl MVP, I think he's clearly the best, not just in the AFC West, but in the NFL.
I mean, my quarterback can go out and get blown out in the Super Bowl too twice.
Yeah, but has he won 3 Super Bowls?
You got to get there first.
Well, I mean, I've seen my Broncos win.
I mean, and it's the amount of times that he's just played in those games. You know, like that's crazy. Like, it's hard to get into those championship games, and you know, he's done it and he's led it, and we'll see if he can do it again. I don't know, but I'm not going to pick anybody else to be better than him, and if they haven't proved to me that they can be better than him. It's like, I don't ever pick Mizzou to beat Alabama until Mizzou shows me that they can beat Alabama. I will pick Mizzou to lose to Alabama every single time leading into that game until they actually beat Alabama.
No, that's fair. And like, if you've been a lifelong Chiefs fan and not just a bandwagon, you went through some dark times before Patrick Mahomes, so you just enjoy what we're getting. So thanks for answering this few. We narrowed it down, obviously. We had a blast throughout the rest of the show, so went a little longer than expected, but still wanted to get a couple of them in there, especially the hot dog one. That one, that's must see.
You gotta know.
That's the must know content right there is hot
I'm
dog.
actually a nachos girl, though. Like, if I'm going to a ball game, I'm getting nachos with extra jalapenos. I'm not even getting a hot dog.
Yeah, same. Stadium nachos for the win every time.
That
was going to be, if they're, time pending, I was going to say I would give me some nacho cheese and or chili on my hot dog, and just do that, because if I'm going, like, even Cardinal Stadium, I get that like build your own nachos.
Yeah.
Like one you can do. I don't know. It's weird to go to a game and not get nachos.
Agree. That's why I don't go to as many games, or I'll eat nachos all the time. So,
well, don't they have that all-you-can-eat ticket going on?
Yeah, but I haven't done that yet, so we'll see.
All right. Well, again, I do want to thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a blast. We'll have to do this again. We'll get the other co-hosts on here, and you can make fun of them for being Raiders fan. Cody, talking to you, and then Matt's obviously a Broncos fan, but we don't have to make fun of Matt. We do that enough. So,
yeah,
is there anything else you want to say before we let you out of here?
No, thanks for having me on. And, as always.
Perfect. All right. Well, we do got to get some sponsorship shout outs real quick as we sign off here. So again, thank you to Troy and his team over at Kansas Field Ops for all your field markings and court marking needs. Make sure to give Troy and his team a call and check out their website. Angie and her team at Emporia State Federal Credit Union, the War Room's banking of choice. And we are recording live out of the JVW Solutions studio. So thank you to Jeff and his team for being our day one sponsor and the main sponsor of the studio as well. Make sure to go check out their Facebook page, as they have a lot of business going on right now. So again, I want to thank Maggie for joining us again tonight. We will be back next week. Cody should be back with us, and we will continue to give you guys updates on Matt as we have them. So again, we'll see you guys next week.